I've never really been a comic book reader. I read Archie comics when I was little. That's about as far as I delved into the comic world. So being a part of this whole Marvel universe is a whole new foray. I think, playing this character, the Black Widow has such an complex and long-standing and diverse origin story behind her. And she's beloved by so many fans that it really was a bit, it wasn't that it was daunting, but it was always in the back of my mind that this was going to be my interpretation of the character, and hoping that the fans were inspired by that, so that I could carry on the legacy. Um, it's these movies are really, geared towards fans, and it's an exciting process to be a part of. The character that I play is a very a highly ambitious, highly trained, and and motivated character. I mean, her eyes stay on the prize, and she is a part of a organization that is really bigger than herself, and it's bigger than Iron Man. And her purpose in this film is to, I think, to allow Iron Man to come to the realization, or intervene in some way, for him to come to the realization that his ability is really bigger than his ego, and his capability is more important than sort of he could ever have imagined. He's a part of a universe that's much more expansive than he could ever have imagined. And my character does that by any means necessary. There was a lot of training involved. The character is a master of hand-to-hand combat, and so with that comes a dedication to the athleticism required for that, which is, in layman's terms, just lots and lots of training. And, you fail a lot before you succeed, and those failures are always painful. It's just really getting an in with the stunt team. That was my angle. It's funny, you prepare something for such a long time, and then you get there on the day, and there's suddenly all of these new elements there, people, and the floor is slipperier, and there's also smoke in the air, and there's some kind of moisture, and like it's never what you could have imagined in your controlled environment, like in the stunt studio. But I think that Tom Harper, our stunt coordinator, really prepared me for all of that. He said to me, he's like, look, I know we're here in this controlled environment, but I want you to be able to, feel 100% prepared when we get there on the day. And part of that is purely not only to be efficient, but just to be safe. And I have to say that when we were shooting it, it was just kind of like, this is it. This is what we waited for. Probably the first take was really, really awful. And then, you just kind of, you put a lot of trust into your fellow actors, and to, your kind of ability, to remember, to have this kind of muscle memory, and you do it. The costume is it's a sort of a navy blue cat suit of sorts, and it's kind of utilitarian. It functioned very well. It was very flexible. It was breathable, and Mary Zofries, our costume designer, was just an absolute genius in engineering it somehow. It was not uncomfortable. Oddly, it was actually. It really did function very well. And it's, by the time I actually had to put it on, I was so prepared for it that I zipped it up, and, bracelets and everything and all this stuff. And you go on set, and just to have the Marvel guys be like, sweet, that looks great. They're just kind of like, wow, there it is right in front of us. That felt pretty great. I think Robert has said in the past that Tony Stark is the cooler version of himself. I can't imagine that being true. that there is a cooler version of Robert. He's just such an incredible guy, amazing actor, and just incredibly generous co-star. You know, he brings so much to the table. It's really hard to put your finger on exactly what it is. I mean, he is so prepared and really, as kind of off the cuff and abstract as his thoughts or actions may seem, they're really, really grounded in something that's true and something that he has studied and something that he's really thought about. And, that's what he brings to the plate as an actor. And of course, all of that is so obvious in his performance. And I think that's why people are just, kind of just chomping at the bit to see this one. John is just, when I first met with John, he really encouraged the duality and the mystery and the intrigue behind this character. And, we spent weeks and weeks rehearsing and discussing our character's motivation and development and ambition. And, and you think, wow, are we really doing this on something called Iron Man 2? Like, how is it possible that it feels like we're making this small, kind of intimate production out of something has such a huge expectation and following behind it? That's what John brings to the table. It's really his calm, collected confidence and his confidence in the actors that he's working with, and his desire to really uncover what it is that makes us all tick, how we work, our technique. He just loves that stuff. He thrives on that stuff. Gwyneth and I were really conscious in the very beginning to not make this a cat fight between these characters. Certainly my character's eyes on Tony, she's not that she's fighting over him. I mean, she's on a mission. I think Gwyneth is, Pepper is really kind of perplexed by Natalie at first. She can't get a read on her, and I think that Pepper is very intuitive, and that disturbs her. And she sees that this character might be the sort of demise of Tony, and that's something that she is, I think, really bewildered by. The relationship between them is, I think, more of that than fighting for the man, two women fighting over a man or something like that. For me, of course, seeing the finished product is all about the special effects because, while we're shooting the film, we never, there you are following a tennis ball or a green dot or staring at a piece of tape, and you're reacting to explosions and, all kinds of like crazy, robots and whatever it is that's around you. And certainly reading the script, you get all of that action, and then being able to actually see it really there in front of you is pretty exciting.